Welcome back to another edition of the Be Forever Cool podcast. My name is Rex45. It's a Wednesday night. It's the podcast. I'm excited. Looking forward to next week to go to Mid Ohio for MotoAmerica and to go live before their broadcast starts. So definitely keep it locked on all the different platforms. You'll be able to see where we're going live on BeForeverCool.com. There'll be a link in the top right corner of the website. Just click on that, and that should show you all the platforms we're streaming from. I think it's the easiest way because, if not, we're going to be telling you 10 different things. So with that said, that's what's happening. So definitely tune in if you can. It's early, but, if you're used to watching motorcycle racing, you're up early, so that's not a problem. Technology, sometimes it's my friend, sometimes it's not. But like I was saying, go to the website and click on the link. You'll be able to find where we can stream live from if you're up early, or you can always go watch it later because we will post it on the platforms as well that we post the podcast. With that, let me get through some other things. Definitely check out Woodcraft. Woodcraft.com. I think there's a CFM in there. But if you Google Woodcraft, you'll find it. Use the Rexy code. It does help contribute to our platform and what we're doing, so we really appreciate it. I want to thank the folks that have already done it. I really appreciate y'all listening to the show, which is great, and we love it. And there's more opportunities coming in the near future as well as we start to plan out more things. So definitely use the Woodcraft code. I mean, I've gotten armor body on my bike. I have Hindle exhaust. I have a Woodcraft stand. I got Woodcraft tire warmers. You know what I'm saying? I got Woodcraft clip-ons, rear sets. I pretty much got everything I think that they make for an R6. So definitely continue to do that. We really appreciate that. Also, Mark 10 Motorsport, Pirelli tires. You get 10% discount using the Be Forever Cool code. He does ship, so we're excited about that. Get yourself some good Pirelli race tires only. He doesn't do street tires, so don't ask him about street tires because you're not going to get street tires. So if you're in the track life and you want to save a little bit of money, that's who you reach out to. Also, check out our website in general. We have new merch. See, I'm rocking some of that. Check it out and get yourself some new merch. We're moving that as well, so we're excited. So I want to thank those folks as well that are spending money. Also, subscribing to the Patreon page. It costs $1 to become a member, and it helps help us continue to do what we're doing. We're going to have some behind the scenes stuff that's only going to be available for folks that are subscribing. So definitely subscribe. It's $1. You can spend a lot more money on other things. This is easy enough for everyone. So with the folks that have already signed up, really appreciate it. And for those thinking about it, please continue and do that. I think that's all the public service announcement. Let's get into the show. I got to bring Harry-O up. Harry-O, man, welcome to the show. How are you doing tonight?
Great, man. It's been a fun-filled, eventful week. Some good racing we just got finished watching last weekend, and I'm just enjoying my time here in Texas and trying to beat the heat and stay hydrated.
Try and do the same thing as you see. Man, we're going to talk about the heat a little bit because it is that time of the year where it seems like, and I'm learning this now as I'm down as a Floridian, but it seems like a lot of the riding happens when the sun goes down. And now I understand why, because that heat is for real. So yeah, man, there was some exciting races the last couple of weeks. There's some crazy news about folks that are moving around in MotoGP and stuff like that. So we're definitely going to chop it up as the show continues. If I can click on what I need to click on. Tyson, man, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
What's up, Rexy? I'm doing good. How are you?
I can't complain. I think, changing my office around, doing things a little different, and, a lot of things happen on muscle memory. And you see me scrambling to do stuff over here. What's good, man? How's New England treating you?
It's been good. I hear you guys having trouble with the heat, and it's been pretty nice up here. Basically, I've ridden my bike way more than I've ridden my car the last 2 months. It's been very minimal rain. Decentish heat, maybe a 90-degree day here and there, but most pretty mild, which is nice.
Right. Yeah. I mean, let's talk about the heat as the show continues, man. I mean, like that's something that's as a rider, you have to deal with at some point. I mean, for me, starting riding up north, it didn't get really as hot until like more August, I guess, or maybe even like, I guess kind of where we are right now, because it is the end of July. And so for me, I had to, start getting gear that was comfortable, that I can ride when it's hot out and stuff like that, because I didn't want to rock just a t-shirt or whatever. And I didn't want to be sweating with my fall gear or my 3-season gear. So for me, I had to start investing in summer gear and also cold weather gear, just to be more comfortable, to kind of be on the bike longer. So like, Harry, you've been in Texas for a while and some other places riding. Like, how do you beat the heat, man?
Well, either I ride early in the morning, or we try to wait till the sun goes down. That's like the best way, or a little before the sun goes down. That's like some of the best time. And that's what I do. Like I think I mentioned to you earlier, I usually wear like my winter, just because of Ducati, because my right hamstring is always on fire. So I try to wear like winter spandex up under my jeans and just go for it. And sometimes it's not the best thing to do, but sometimes I don't wear a jacket sometimes, and that's like my only hiccup sometimes, but I don't go too far without wearing my jacket. But it's just maybe just a quick ride, but it's just the risk I take sometimes. Is it a good risk? No, but it's just something I do because it's just too hot sometimes.
I feel you there as you're speaking. I'm starting to cook with all these lights on me, so I have to get a fan myself to cool down. Man, how do you beat the heat up north when it does get hot?
I just ride around like I'm Fabio. I just zip the suit down. I let that air hit my chest. And if you're gonna do that, you have to make sure you're not wearing like a one piece or a shirt. You got to show off the chest hair too. You got to make sure the world knows. But yeah, like you were saying though, Rexy, like I've got a couple sets of gear for different sort of environments. Like I have to, like it would, I lived in Arizona for a while. Like it would be nice to just own a summer jacket, a nice airy jacket. But sometimes you get cold days, sometimes you get real hot days, sometimes you get mild days up here. So you kind of just have to have gear that works for every season. And for a lot of us up here, you start with like a set of gear. And then as you go, you start just collecting more and more. And now you just have sort of like a closet full of the appropriate gear for the appropriate weather.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, you see the helmets back here, mostly race helmets. But there was somebody on Facebook, shout out to 941 Collectors, and they were talking about what's your favorite helmet, and I'm like, counting my helmets, the ones that's been crashed, that's aged out, and it's just like, if you've been riding for a while, you got 6-7 helmets hanging around the house, and several pairs of gloves and stuff like that, because you just find that you just have to be comfortable, man. So like, how many helmets you got, Harry?
Like 4. 4 helmets.
Yeah, Tyson, how about yourself, man?
I've got 4 or 5. Yeah. But like the other thing too is like helmets are a little tough though, because they have an expiration date. So like I have 4 or 5 helmets around, but 3 of them I would never put on my head and ride around with a bike. Like right. They're wall ornaments at this point. But like I just bought a new helmet because my old helmet reached its 5-year date and I can't race with it anymore. But I've got like a comm system set up on it. So if I ride to work and I want music, like I'll still wear it. It'll be fine. But give it another year or two and it'll eventually get the same treatment where it's just going to go up on the wall and that's where it lives.
So that's interesting. So like what I started doing, I'm not recommending to anyone, but all my helmets that aged out from the track, they become my street helmet.
Yeah. That's basically what's happened though.
Yeah. That's the best way.
Because I mean, I mean, I don't know what happens. I know the track, it makes sense for stuff to age out, especially the helmet, because of liability and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know what happens to a helmet, and maybe we should find out and ask some folks that makes helmet, like over a period of time, that we should replace them or not replace them. Because like I said, for me, you know, the race helmets, I start riding them on the streets and stuff like that. And you know, just keep it moving that way. You know, and knock on wood, for the most part, you know, I've stayed up on the streets and never really had to test one out to see if it worked. If it didn't work because it aged out, but I've never, no one has ever said like, okay, after 6 or 7 years, replace your street helmet.
Yeah, and from what I do know is that it's the foam in the helmet, like the shell protects you from impacts, like you know, something hitting it hard, but the foam is what is slowing your brain down. You know, this adage, like, it's not the speed that kills you, it's the sudden stop, and it's the same thing with your head. So like that foam is meant to slow your head down to an acceptable deceleration in this case. And what happens is over time that EPS foam starts to harden and it doesn't perform at the same rate as what they tested it to new. So like you can go on any of the helmet manufacturers and they will tell you how long they rate their helmets for, which is like they'll say after 7 years you must replace this helmet, which to your point, Rexy, some of that is just liability. But at the same time, it's like it's your noggin and you're spending a lot of money on these helmets, and it's like, do you want to take that risk? So, but I understand. Like I said, I'm still riding around with my old helmet that I just aged out from the track. But it's like, yeah, it's kind of in this gray area. What's fine for the street for now, but if it hits 10 years, I'm a hard no more helmet. That helmet is no longer good. It is a wall ornament. It does not belong on anybody's head.
Right. Yeah, fair enough. I don't think I've had one that's beyond that because, you know, depends on when. So I've learned now, like I used to just get helmets because they were deals, but they're
old.
So I got I lost some time, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm like, all right. So when that was happening, you know, I was replacing helmets like every 3.5 years, 4 years. So it wasn't the extent, but now I am buying, you know, close to the date as possible to when I go in the store to get a helmet now. So I get my 5 years.
I think that's something people don't realize until they start racing, when someone actually checks their date of manufacture on the helmet. And then they're like, oh, I was just buying any helmet off the shelf. I didn't realize this helmet sat on the shelf for 3 years before I bought it.
Yeah.
You know? So like I do the same. Like if I call up Revzilla to like buy a helmet, I was like, I want a recent date manufacturer. Like, do not give me a 2-year-old helmet. Like I'm not going to accept that.
No, I agree. I mean, and it's something again, I don't know if you learn it on the streets, but you definitely learn at the track because you show up and they go, this helmet's not gonna work.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
checking the date.
I'm 16 hours away from my house, so I guess I got to go buy a helmet. You know, lucky thing is there's folks selling helmets and stuff at the track, right? Because it's not something that's like at the front of your. I mean, again, I paid more attention now, and I know when my helmets are going to age out now because I don't want to get caught in that situation. But you know, there's a lot of people that show up to the track and their helmet is just old, and they, you know, they either got to buy a new helmet or they ain't riding, and normally you're not getting your money back. You know, so let me ask this: what's too cold a weather for you guys to ride in? I mean, the coldest weather I've ridden in is 22 degrees, but I had heated gear, socks, pants, jacket, gloves, the thing that goes over your head.
That's ridiculous. That's too much. Hard no, Rexy.
No, but I'm just curious. Like, what is it? Like 30 degrees, 40 degrees for you? 50? Like, what's too cold for you to
50?
50?
50. That's it. Yeah.
I have ridden while it was actively snowing. It wasn't intentional, but I've done it, and it wasn't smart, and I won't do it again. Yeah. But when I was stationed this day and age. Go ahead.
Yeah, I did that by mistake. Because when I stayed in upstate New York, and we had a night ride. I mean, we went out to a meet or what have you, and on the way back, we were leaving Syracuse, and by the time we made it to Watertown, New York, man, it's like 22 miles from the Canadian border. We had like a little sprinkles of snow. I was like, no way, man. I need to hurry up and get home because I didn't, you know, like that oil and ice. You don't need that mix, and I was just like trying to just take it slow and make it home, and it was cold too. It started to get below 50. It was like maybe in the 4 hours, like, I can't do this again. My hands just felt like, I don't know. I couldn't even feel my hands. I was just like, yeah, this is not good.
That's when you rest one of your hands on the side of the engine just to warm it up a little bit.
I've burned the shit out of gloves doing that.
Huh?
I burned the shit out of gloves doing that because, like you're saying, like I was younger and it was 40 degrees, 45 degrees, and I would literally stick my hand through the plastic and like literally hold on to the engine, like engine block or whatever, and to like warm up my hands, and then just burn the shit out of the leather because like they couldn't take it. But yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I've done that many times in Boston, riding to work, and either I forgot an adapter, so I couldn't plug in my heated gear, and I'm like, I can make it in like 35 minutes to the job. Nope, not at all. It was like when I was just like, this is ridiculous. My legs, toes, hands, and once your hands are cold, you know what I'm saying, you can't deal with the controllers the same way, and then it's just you're just thinking about it, so you're not even comfortable on the bike anymore. And
it's so hard to get heat back into your hands once they've lost their heat. Like it's just like once it's happened, there's no going back. Like you can try to get some heat back in, but it only buys you a couple minutes.
Yeah,
you have to do it again.
Right.
Yeah. Now, so let me ask this then. How about rain conditions? You guys ride in the rain? I mean, I got to pull over. I got a vest that a jumper that I can just pull on and zip up over what I'm wearing and keeping it moving. Do you guys ride in the rain?
Oh yeah, for sure. No. That's different. Yeah. The rain is how you get better at riding. Like to me, I don't know. Like I don't have an issue with riding in the rain. I just need to make sure I got the proper gear. I really don't have an issue. Like, yeah. The rain is not that bad. It's just you just got to make sure that you go on with the right flow of traffic. No quick movements, because that can be pretty detrimental to you.
Yeah, I've ridden in the rain, and I'll say this: if I have like a summer jacket on, like the raindrops hurt. I like they hurt. I don't know, like people don't have gear and just have t-shirts and it's raining out. Good luck. I don't know how you guys do it and gals do it, because it feels ridiculous. But if I have a 3-season jacket on, a waterproof layer, I can be in the rain all day and having fun.
Yeah. I don't ride in the rain. It just gets cold. Like up here, when it rains, like you get cold quick, and now you're riding, and now the wind is wicking all that water off your body, taking all the heat out of your body. So it's like up here, it's just I want to ride to have fun, and there's no fun to ride in the rain. Like it's risky. There's a lot of oil on the road and stuff like that. So I just like, I've got a car. I'll take the car. It's not a big deal.
There you go. I generally take the car unless I'm already out and about. In the rain, but I don't mind it. And I think like once you get out, like Harry was saying, even up in Boston, I rode out in the rain a lot. And if you have the right gear on and you can stay dry and you can stay warm, then it's not the same. It's like, but if you're all wet and your shoes are wet, like I mean, I have waterproof boots and stuff, so I just stayed dry. Pretty much for the most part, because then you're pretty comfortable. So speaking of dry, Sachsenring was dry a couple of weeks ago. Now coming up on a couple of weeks, let's hear you guys take on your thoughts on the Sachsenring, the outcome. Mark kind of played it off a little bit, but I think he's here to stay, and we can't believe that he's not 100% anymore. Even if he's not 100%, he's riding like he's 100%. And it looks like, if, Bezzecchi doesn't come back strong after the summer break, Agura, Martin, Digia, they're gonna. I even throw Fernandez in there just for the heck of it. But really, those four that I mentioned, because those are the four that's going to be going against Mark. We'll start with Harry. Man, what are your thoughts on the Sachsenring and all the left turns and just Marquez going on?
Yeah, it's good to see Mark coming back into form, and just to see him, the mishap he was having early in the beginning of the season. Now he's in third place, and just his consistency through it all, and just his determination just to be where he is right now in the championship is a good thing for the sport. And it's also good to see Trackhouse doing exceptionally well. and MotoGP, especially with their second and to be second and third at the end of the race behind Marc Marquez, and they're just Fernandez and Agura just kind of like battling out a little bit, overtaking each other, but doing it safely. It just shows that like though Martin didn't do so well coming in fifth place, that Aprilia is still a good machine, and I think it can. I think it's one of the best machines on the grid, and I think it can outdo the Ducati. It's just due to the rider errors. Maybe that's probably why Martin didn't place higher, because he had the speed the whole weekend. So it was overall it was a good weekend. It's good to see Marc. And when I say it's good to see Marc perform the way he did, the fans love him. It's more of a fandom thing, not saying that Marco Bezzecchi and Jorge Martin are not ultra fan favorites like Marc Marquez. So it was good to see Marc Marquez, give the fans something good to see, even though I'm still pulling for Marco Bezzecchi to win the championship. It was just good to see Marc make the progress he did since from the beginning of the season.
Right. Yeah, I think that if Martin didn't get hurt last year, he would have as much time as Agura and Fernandez and Bezzecchi have on the bike. And I think that's what's lacking with Martin. And obviously the bike was developed more around Bez than it was around Martin. And Aprilia is not going to go undo that for him. So I think they're like, this is the bike you got, bro. We're not going. You had last year, we would have moved to Earth this year, but this year we ain't moving maybe a couple of bolts.
Yeah.
Tyson, what are your thoughts on the weekend and what happened in Sachsenring? And you heard Dario talk about Trackhouse and what they're doing. I mean, to have a Guru in second place in the championship right now, I mean, I think, you hear riders even in MotoAmerica say it's too soon to start thinking about the championship and stuff like that. But to enter the summer break, second in the championship, man, that's a good place to come back and start from. What are your thoughts?
I thought it was a great weekend, especially as an unabashed Marc stan. I love to see him get, pole, sprint, and race win. Good to see him back. I can see he's maybe still a little bit hurt, but I definitely think it's a little bit of mind games, like you were saying earlier. Like Marc's doing what Marc does best, which is being humble in the media and then proving people wrong on the racetrack. But other than Marc, I mean, I really like seeing these tracks. I love Ayagura and Raul Fernandez. Like, they are doing one hell of a job. Like, as a team, to be dominating basically the factory team as a customer. Like, it is quite impressive what they've managed to do. And I really hope they keep going. And like you said, I think if anyone who's in contention for the championship, I would say it's the top six. Marco Bezzecchi, Jorge Martin, Ayagura, Raul Fernandez, Fabio Di Giannantonio, and did I miss anybody? And Marc Marquez. Like, those are, Raul's a little bit on the outside, but I can see him pulling 60 points back, and getting close to the lead, third, second, maybe first. It's less likely, but it'd be good to see. But I think it's great to see these guys, performing well, showing what they've got. I agree with you too. If Jorge had a little bit more time on that bike last year, he probably would be doing a lot better. It definitely looks like he's still trying to figure out the bike this year. Like, he's still fast, but he just makes these like small little mistakes that are, teething problem mistakes that he should have, if he was riding last year, should have figured out and is doing well. And man, like, I feel so bad for Bezzecchi. Some of this is his fault. Some of it's not his fault. But like, man, what a lead you had on the championship, and it is gone.
Yeah, bro. It's like going to a casino and you up 10 racks. You're like, I'm gonna let it ride.
Yeah, and now you're down 10 racks, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm with Hario. Like, I like Marc. Marc has won a lot of championships, and if Marco Bezzecchi won the championship this year, I would have zero issues with it, and I'd be rooting for him, and I'd be celebrating. And it is just tough to see this is how his title contention has been going for the first half of the season.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll say this. I know that when Bagnaia won it in 23, he was down 100 and something points at the summer break. And so, looking at the points where he's at now, I'm sorry, he was down 90 something points at the break. And so to see, like you mentioned, Fernandez and who's in 6th place right now and the top 5, they're separated by under 49 points between the number 1 guy and 49 and Fernandez. So I mean it's going to be crazy. So I think Bez is in a good position. 22 points down from the lead to come back. The good thing about Bez is that it's all his own doing. The only person at the moment, I know the other Aprilia guys are faster, and the timeout. They could, when I say the other ones, the Trackhouse guys, they could get in front of Bez, but realistically, I think Bez is really just going to contend with Mark. I think when he comes back, it's going to be a matter of like the shoulder and his rhythm, and also just again, you lose 10 racks. How long you going to beat yourself up for it, right? So is he going to come back and still be thinking about the last 4 rounds? Or is he going to come back and thinking about the first 4 rounds? I don't know if there's 8 or 9 rounds before the summer break, but you know what I'm saying, though? Like, because if he focused on the beginning of the season and the end of last season and have that mentality and come back after the summer break, hopefully that's what he has, because if he has that, I think he'll do fine. If he's worried about if he's going to mess something up, if he's not making the right decisions, those kind of things, I think he may find himself in a bit of hot water there. Let's talk about Agura and let's Fernandez, right? Because I was thinking about this when you guys were talking about it, and I gave Lewis a little bit of crap for this last week because at the beginning of the season, I was asking him, is there anything that Fernandez can do to save his job? Right, and Lewis was saying no, and they haven't officially announced it yet. But it feels like if you believe what you hear coming out of Spain and Italy and Europe and stuff like that, he's going to save his job. When you look at Fernandez's performance, guys, is it enough? Does he need to do more? Does he just need to kind of finish? If he finished top 6, that's very good in the championship. Chances are he may even come up a little bit. But from what you guys saw so far, has he done enough to save his job in your mind? We start with Harry.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think he saved his job last year when he won a race for Trackhouse. That's just my perspective. To me, I feel like last year when he won his race, I was just like, okay, here we go. He was a rookie. Rookie, and
last year,
huh?
Did he win one last year?
Was he? Yeah, he won last year.
Huh?
He won a race last year, and that's when I was like, okay, this guy's fast, because I didn't know what he was really bringing to the table until last year, and it was all about Agura, because I'm watching Agura, you could just see his skill being on display as he raced, but. When Fernandez won that race, I was like, okay, maybe maybe his talent is hadn't been unlocked, and then come to this year, and then all the talks about him being possibly not having a seat next year, and seeing what he had been progressing with this year, and I know that probably been in the back of his head, because he's like, man, I only had 2 years at this, and he finally put it together, and then everything is starting to come together for him, man. And I believe the rumors that he is going to be back, because I think he tested one of the 850s a couple of days ago. So that's pretty much saying hey, we believe in you. So let's give you first chance of what you're going to be riding next year. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do next year. Because look what he's doing this year. For sure, next year, he's going to be in title contention. His name is going to be in the head. But hey, don't forget about Rob Fernandez. We talk about Bez and Martin and Mark Marquez. But hey, look, Agura and Fernandez did something phenomenal last year. So I think they're going to be in talks of winning the championship.
Yeah.
Because they're fast riders. Both of those guys are fast.
Yeah. It's unfortunate they couldn't keep Agura for next season, a Trackhouse. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to Agura when he goes next year. But it's going to be Raul. It's going to be Raul. Well, again, it depends who's coming in, because we don't know if Buligas could get in that second seat. We don't know if it's Bastianini getting that second seat or getting the Guru seat, I should say. And so who knows who's going to be one or two? Because both those guys got more experience in MotoGP than Fernandez does. So it'll be interesting for him. For him, what are your thoughts, Tyson?
Because the rumor right now is like what you said, Bastianini. That's the rumor so far. Yeah,
I think Bastianini or Bulaga. Right. Or Bulaga may go to VR46 because we don't know that. So we'll see. What are your thoughts, Tyson?
I agree with Hario to a degree with Raul Fernandez. I personally feel like he earned his seat last year with that race win. And to be clear, he won his first race last year. This is his 5th year in MotoGP this season. But he's had a very lackluster career up until last year. And I think that race win, I would have given him another contract, but it definitely, as we've talked about before, it's not just your performance, it's also your marketing. Like there's plenty of guys that have done nothing that are still in MotoGP. And it's because like Jack Miller, I like Jack Miller, hasn't done much the last couple of years, but he's very marketable. People like him. So they keep him on the team because he's a serviceable rider and he brings in money via advertising, So I was kind of worried that he really hadn't made a name for himself. And even with the race win, he wouldn't get that extension because he wasn't a super marketable rider. But I feel like he's definitely getting a little bit more personality, especially with Ayagura too. Like they're both doing really well. There's a lot more cameras on them. People are seeing them more. People are liking them more. They're doing well. And I think it's a great choice for Trackhouse to keep him on. He's clearly a good rider. And I certainly think he has a chance if he keeps up this performance, he has a chance at pulling off a championship. It's a small chance, but it's still there.
I mean, I think so. I mean, I think he was really nice. Raul Fernandez in Moto 2. He did 1 year on the with KTM and moved up. I felt like he should have stayed another year. But again, if they come calling, you got to go. And that bike the KTM was a lot for him.
He learned from Joe Roberts.
Yeah. Exactly. Hey, you know what was funny doing the Sachsenring race with those two guys is Raul Fernandez had overtaken Agura, and Agura had shook his head at him like, "What are you doing? You know I'm gonna pass you again." And he ended up passing him again. It was just kind of like a little funny interaction with those two. But it was
I
a
like
good
those
race.
Guys. But also,
I do too, right?
Is they're really respectful to each other. Like they're not like, I'm gonna beat you off the side of the track because I'm gonna have this win. They're like, you're faster, whatever. Like take the position. Not necessarily that easy, but like they are riding respectfully and like let's get points for this team and ourselves. Right. Which I kind of like that mentality. Like they're not these self-destructive riders like some of them on Aprilia.
I agree. No, I completely agree. I think that they're really good teammates. And it's unfortunate, but that's how the business works. Let's talk about Digia. He crashed out on Sunday, but also had third place on Saturday. I mean, he is the leading. Did Mark jump to second place in the championship already? Is that
Mark's in third and Eisen second?
Yeah, Mark's in third.
Yeah. So he's fallen down in the championship, him and Bez. But let's talk about Digia. What does Digia need to do? I mean, I love his performance in the sprint. I mean, he crashed out in the main race, so nothing you can do when you crash out. But what does he need to do in the off season? And can he beat Marc Marquez? Because he's going to have to. I saw you, Hario.
He just got to stay consistent, man. I think it's just a tire. I don't know. It's a tire thing. Like managing his tires a little bit better. I think that would help him probably beat Marc because he has the talent to hang with Marc. Mm-hmm. Just doing a job on him that he cannot be beat or Digi cannot catch him. I think it's just his whole thing about tire management and just trying to piece it together and stay in front of the Aprilias, because I think like once those guys those Aprilias get the shark hunting and they chasing those Ducatis, I think they make it a little difficult for the Ducatis, because I know one thing for sure: if one of the Aprilias pass you, you're not going to catch them. It's just been proven this past season, especially with the Ducatis. And I just think he just needs to stay more consistent. And when he's during the races, because he has the talent, like, and everybody sees it, is always on display. And he's been the leading Ducati for this season until Marc turn it around. So hopefully we'll be able to see something that he'll bring to the table for the VR46 team before the end of the season after the break.
Nice. Yeah, I agree. Hopefully he will turn it around. He's going to KTM next year, factory seat, so it's a come up for him. But it'd be nice for him to finish as far as he can, especially on the VR46 Academy team, or VR46 team, which he's very grateful to Rossi and what they've done for him, because they threw him a lifeline when they didn't have to. What are your thoughts, Tyson?
I think what Digia really needs to do is just focus on consistency. Like, he needs to, everyone seems to be blowing up their own chances at the championship recently, other than the Trackhouse guys and Mark. And I think he needs to just, like, if he can get between 5th and 2nd, and if he's got that, like, I would just hold on to it and let other people make the mistakes in front of you. I think part of his struggles with getting some better places as well is it's, for a while at the beginning of the season, it was him alone fighting with the Aprilias. So he would be in 1st or 2nd, and there's 4 Aprilias behind him who, to certain degrees, I don't necessarily think they work together, but like, they'll be friendlier to each other and not pass each other and not try to fuck over each other's races. Whereas, like, if you would get a couple Ducatis to break up that sort of like Aprilia train, it will affect all of their races, and it'll make it easier for him to win some or get some better positions. So now that Alex is coming back, Alex did great in that sprint. Get Alex and Mark to also sort of mess with the flow of the Aprilias. I think that'll slow them down in the aggregate for the season. But I really think he just needs to focus on finishing races in better than 5th place. And I think he will keep his position, and if he can get some wins out of that, get some sprint wins, do some well in the sprints, he can keep up with the championship contenders. And then if you can get it down to the last couple races, anything can happen. You can win a race and the title's over and you just won it. But he's got to stay with them. He can't. Right. I don't think he'll be able to dig himself out of a hole. Like, if he starts getting 40, 50 points back, his championship's over. I don't think not necessarily like the talent, but maybe just the equipment, the talent, the mental fortitude, I don't know, but I don't think he has what it takes to dig himself out of that compared to his competition.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think, I think it's one of those things where I think the VR46 team have given him a boost of confidence that, like, I think if he was at HRC or was it LCR Honda or something like that, or another team, I don't know if they would have gotten the same results out of Digia that VR46 has gotten out of him this season and last season, even though there was things going on with the bike and stuff like that. Let's talk about Quartararo. On that Yamaha, I know it's a smaller track, but he still got this bike into Q2. He still got top 10 in both races. We just announced that he signed to factory Honda, even though we kind of knew about it. What are your thoughts on his performance? I mean, he does give Honda a lot of crap from what we can tell in the media, but at the same time, if he has a position to get into Q2, he's going to get as far up as he can. If he has a chance to, finish as, top 6 or top 9, top 10, he's able to do that. What are your thoughts, Harry, on what Quartararo is doing? And like I said, he is hard on Yamaha, but at the same time, he's not on the towel yet.
Right. I think he's doing the best he can. Like, it's an experimental thing. It's an experimental year for them by going from to the V4 this year. So he's probably just trying to make it to the end of the season, but not be competitive. Like, he wants to be competitive. He wants to win still, even though he's already signed his contract for next year. It's just he doesn't have the proper equipment or a fast enough bike to hang with the top 5 guys, where that's where he want to be, because we already know his talent is always on display. It's just he doesn't have the right setup. But right. I wish he would have. I know he wants to win, and like I said, this is an experimental year for Yamaha with the V4. So it's still good to see that he is still being the top Yamaha rider. So we just have to take what he gives us. And like I said, like you said, he made it to Q2. So like that's huge.
Right. No doubt there. Tyson, man, what are your thoughts on Quartararo? Is Honda the best bet for him next year and his performance, man? I mean, like I said, like you hear Harry, like I said about him not giving up, but it's He could have just take it easy and say, I don't want to hurt myself until next season.
I think he's seeing that. I think he's seeing he is the only person performing whatsoever on that Yamaha, and I would probably bet a decent sum of money that he is phoning in most races and still performing that much better than his teammates. And then he's looking over and seeing that Honda team where you've got Luca Marini and Diego Moreira. Not saying that they're bad riders, but if I was Fabio Quartararo, I would be thinking I'm much better riders than these guys, and they're getting top 10 places. Like, what could I do on that bike? Like, if they gave that to me, I'd be in third, I'd be in fourth, I'd be getting pole positions. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm guessing he's probably seeing out of it. I'm sure he wished he could go to Ducati or Aprilia, but it seems like they've all just sort of figured their plans out and just ignored Quartararo for some reason. If I was those guys, I would love to have Quartararo on my bike, and I don't know why he didn't go to Aprilia or Ducati, but I'm not in those rooms. Sorry.
I was going to say probably not a factory option. I don't know about Ducati, but not a factory seat option. And I assume Quartararo wants to be on the factory team.
Yeah, that could be it for sure. He didn't want to do the Marc Marquez, like sit on a satellite bike for a year or two and just show them that I'm clearly better than anyone you're going to put on that bike. And so you should put me on it. He just wants to be on it.
Right. Like Mayer's going to do next year. Right.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I don't want the same responsibility as the factory. I'm gonna crash less. I'm gonna have some fun. I see Nadia down here partying at least every couple of rounds. I want some of that. Like I see all it happens. Let's talk about well, let's talk about Alonso first before we talk about Vinales. Just announced that Davio Alonso is going to. It didn't announce if he's on a factory seat yet, but he's going to Honda for next year. What are your thoughts on that? A good look for him. Should Diego Moreira get the factory seat over him since he already got 1 year in MotoGP? I mean, Diego won the championship last year in Moto2. So not last year. Last year. Last year in Moto2. So, I mean, does Alonso have to win a title to get the factory seat? What are your thoughts, guys? I'm sorry, Harry.
Man, that's a tough one. I would have thought they would have been teammates, like Moreira and Alonso. Like I was looking forward to them being teammates, like actual, sharing a paddock, because they're right there together. Like Brazil, Colombia, they're connected right there. So like I was, hopefully they would be able to have that connection. But I just think it's a contractual thing of why probably, one person's going to the factory team and one person's probably staying with the LCR team. And that's probably the only reason that happened, because they wanted the talent regardless of what. And I think that's the only reason that might have happened. But I'm just glad that he getting the opportunity, because he's a great rider. And, South America is looking for them. Looking for that little combo next year. And I'm looking forward for it too. Right. And I know they're going to bring whatever they need to bring to the paddock. I mean, to the paddock and to the grid. It is going to be exciting to see. I love the young talent, because he's been doing, he's been fighting his heart out in Moto2. And, I'm just happy for the guys. Like, you know what I mean? Honda needs a new fresh start, especially looking for an heir apparent since Mark left. To pick up the mantle to win for them again. And I think they have an opportunity with Alonso.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. And, I'm looking at the lineup now on the MotoGP page, and they haven't stuck him anywhere yet. So maybe Zarco might get that factory seat for, 1 year, and they both be on LCR. You never know. Also, but let's go to Tyson and hear what your thoughts, man, on him coming up. Also, I guess Algado also is Mayer's teammate in Gresini. So that we got a couple of rookies. They may be only 2 rookies. There may be one more. What are your thoughts?
I mean, if I was Honda, I'd personally put Moreira on the factory seat with Quartararo. You've got a guy he's a rookie this year. It'll be his sophomore season next year. He's already got some experience. You're going to want a little bit more experience on the factory team, but you've got all this talent and experience with Quartararo, and then add, a sophomore in there. You've got a pretty strong factory team. And you put a rookie and say Zarco on the satellite team, where you've got a fresh rookie with a seasoned vet who's basically a test rider for the most part. And I think he can learn a lot from that. I feel like putting Alonso directly on that factory bike, I don't know if he's ready for it. That's all. Like, I don't think Alonso is Mark Marquez. Like, Mark Marquez was a freak, and they put him immediately on a factory bike, and he won a championship. I don't think that's going to happen for Alonso. And I feel like, why not set all these guys up for success versus failure? And that's how I see the highest probability of success for Honda as a manufacturer and a team next year going forward.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I hopefully those guys they get paid the big bucks to sort it out. We just get to talk about it. But yeah, I completely agree with you. It seems like Moreira should go to factory if there's a discussion and let Alonso, work with Zarco and figure it out, or put Zarco up there and put them together. It probably makes sense to have one veteran and one rookie or a second year guy.
It's less pressure too for a rookie. Like your first year in MotoGP, it is so much more exposure than you had at Moto2. Like, sure, they were famous in Moto2, but like MotoGP is now you're world famous. Like, diehards watch Moto2. Regular people watch MotoGP, and like people will see you on the street and know you. So like, it may be good for him to be on that customer seat, just to let him just learn. That's really what you need him out of his first year, just to figure it out and be quick.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Man,
but I say,
go ahead.
Real quick, Rex. I'll say this because he's one of my fan favorites. He's one of my favorites. Senna Aguas.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, how did they leapfrog over him? Like, to get a ride for next year, because I for sure think Aguas he's showing more promise this year, but it's the politics behind racing, so you really can't pick and choose of, like, even though you have your fan favorite, is, I guess, when you at that position of watching talent that ride, I guess his talent supersedes what Senna will bring to the table.
Right. Well, I mean, I think Elgato and Alonso have been making more noise in Moto2. Moto3 and in Moto2 as well. I think Senna's breaking out. I think end of last year, this year's his first breakout year.
Right.
And these other guys have been kind of proven that they've been more consistent, I should say. But I don't think he's that far behind. Gonzalez is he still leading the championship in Moto2?
Yeah, he is.
So it's like, if Gonzalez don't have a seat in MotoGP, how's they just?
I know, right? That's another one. That's another one, right? Yeah.
And this guy, like, he's the real deal. I mean, I know he had a tough.
Yeah, he is.
Last season, and then he started out well and didn't end well. But I think he's doing fairly well this year. Let me check out the championship.
He's like 50 points ahead in the championship.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're not mentioning Gonzalez for Moto2, something is wrong. For MotoGP next year, something is wrong. And again, the politics. Maybe he's not marketable, but the guy got talent.
Yeah, he absolutely does.
So, but there's a lot of talent in Moto2, and they all deserve seats. But these guys in MotoGP, they're talented too, and they're trying to hold on to their seats as long as possible. Yeah. Let's talk about World Superbike. After Ika got the ride for Grassini to fill in for Alex Marquez, he was like, all right, I know what I have to do. I think the first round coming back, I think that was Belton Park. It didn't work out the way he wanted to. He was able to go to Donington. I think he got a little bit too excited after winning the first race, because I think he could have won all 3 races if he didn't crash out in the Super Pole and put himself in a bad position for the race 2. What did you think when you saw it? Is it something that you think he's going to be able to repeat going down for the rest of the season, or is it like a one and done kind of thing? We start with Hario.
Whew, that's a toughie. I don't know. I don't want to say it's a one and done, because he showed everyone that he could beat them. But at the same time, the champion, his teammate wants to win, and it's just something about if you lose something to your teammate or your competitor like that when you already winning the championship. Sometimes that's the fire that needs to ignite the fire, and I don't think that's going to happen again. It was good to see. It showed the whole world that he is beatable, but I don't think it's going to happen again.
Why don't you?
I don't know. I mean, I love the guy, but I don't know if he can beat him again.
You think Bulega was just sleeping?
Yeah, I think Bulega just got caught up in, that. I think he wanted to take more risk in that race, right? And I think like he didn't want to like risk neither one of them not being on the podium. So I think he kind of like let up, because I still think Bulega could have won. Man, just in hindsight, just watching the race and rewatching it again, I was like, man, I think Bulega could have won, but I just didn't think he wanted to risk it. And sometimes when you take a risk, sometimes you get so ridiculous and kind of led it all out there. And I didn't think he wanted to crash his teammate. So I think he just like, okay, let me just take this position and I'll deal with the outcome later. And the next race, I'll definitely win. And it happened.
And he was upset. I mean, he was upset about that second.
Yeah, he was upset.
Bulega was not like
he was upset. He said, I'm not going to take this line down.
He's like, oh, what? Man, I was trying to win all of them. He was trying to win them all. What are your thoughts, Tyson?
Yeah.
On the last round at Dunnington Park?
I mean, Bulega won 21 races in a row. I don't fault him for just, if he was just like, might as well just finish this one, But I just think it's like statistically, if he could pull off a win in every race but one race, that would be statistically wild. So I just feel like Iker probably will get another win or two maybe by the end of the season. Okay. Just because, like, how can you can't, like, especially with how long seasons are these days. Like, we talk about, like, oh, people had perfect seasons, like the Miami Dolphins and the Celtics from the 60s and stuff. But, like, how many games were they playing? You know what I mean? Like, their statistical sample size was very small and it allowed for that sort of, like, deviations from the norm. Whereas, like, you have so many opportunities to reach the mean with how long these seasons are. So it's tough. But he certainly is riding on his game. Like, the way he's been riding, I don't see why it's not possible he just wins the rest of the year, but I just don't think it's likely. He's pretty much locked up the championship. Like, I don't see why he doesn't just phone in a couple races here and there.
Okay. I mean, we're waiting for them to announce if he's going to MotoGP or not. It sounds like it. Ducati just locked up Iker with a new contract for 27 and 28. So they like what they see, which is very good.
I honestly would prefer to see him with Raul than on Ducati, than on VR46.
I know, right?
I him and Raul would be a slick lineup.
Yeah,
it would.
Yeah. I agree. I think that for Bulega, I think that I think he's going to go to Ducati mainly for the fact that he's a test rider already signed with them. So I think he's going to go to VR46 because of that. And I can't imagine that they'll make him a test rider to not keep him around, you know what I'm saying? In the family long enough. But you never know. I mean, you never know. I mean, I think if he goes to Aprilia, it's not going to be wrong. He's going to be with Bagnaia and Bezzecchi. So we got 3 VR46 guys on the same bike, which would be very impressive. So
that's a wild lineup though too. Bulega, Raul, and Bezzecchi. Like, that's a pretty solid lineup.
Yeah,
that is, man. It really is.
Can't wait for next year. I mean, obviously, I think like 80% chance he goes to Ducati though. Like, I agree with you. It's like an 75% chance he goes to Ducati, but like that small chance would be sick.
Yeah, I mean, who would you pick over him? I mean, you think about Moto2 pool, like who would you pick over a guy that
you guys were talking about Bastianini, and I was like, I don't want to see Bastianini on that seat. Like, I like Bastianini, but I don't think he's done much the last 3 years. Like, I would rather see somebody else come in than Bastianini stay to a degree.
I mean, he was hurt, and then I think if he was Ducati, he would have done well. I think the KTM was an issue for him, and I think that's kind of the KTM guys. That's the issue. They're just on the wrong bike. But I think to me, I think Bastianini is a better rider than Digia. He was when he was on. He was when he was on a Ducati. You know what I'm saying? He just
used to, like, it just seemed like he gets more he gets better at the end of a race. He doesn't start good.
Yeah, just recently, but he beat out Martin for the factory seat.
For sure.
So I mean, they didn't just do that if he wasn't, but he got hurt. That's unfortunate. That was unfortunate. Right. He got hurt. He started doing some bad decisions, some bad crashes. Came back and took himself out again, and a bunch of other people and stuff like that. But I do, it is what it is. I think if Bulaga is on the Aprilia, I'm happy with it. If Bastianini's there, because I don't think he's had a chance to prove himself either. I think this is again another guy that's won a world title in Moto2, right? And haven't had the chance. So hopefully, then the only thing left will be VR46 and or Aprilia. So we'll see what happens, man. It's the season's still going to be long, but it's crazy. So to go back to wrap this up, I think Bulaga will go to Ducati. But if he goes to Aprilia, I think he'll do well there as well. So let's talk about anything you guys want to talk about in World Superbike before we go to MotoAmerica?
No,
that's pretty much, it's the Ducati world over there. So let's talk about MotoAmerica, guys. Before we get out of here, JD Beats came in and did his thing. Attack Yamaha had their anniversary colors on the bike, which looks super dope. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure you guys already saw it already. What are your thoughts seeing that before the weekend started at Laguna? And let me say this: if you haven't been to Laguna Seca, that's a track you have to visit. I wish I was on the track riding, but it's pretty wild, and it's just such a legendary track that you kind of have to see. But let me hear your thoughts, Hario, on the Yamaha colors, and then also what Beats was able to do the weekend with walking away with both wins.
Oh man, look at the color. I like the color, man. It looks amazing. I always like Yamahas, and I love that anniversary color. It just brings back that nostalgia look. Man, it's an amazing looking bike. But man, I enjoyed the races, man. I always love Laguna Seca, especially Corkscrew. And, seeing Sean Dillon Kelly, points leader now and been able to put together what he was able to put together this past race in Laguna. And man, it was a good race. And also not trying to just move too quick, but like a super sport. I think Kayla got mixed up with the grip from Ducati Week when she rode Marc Marquez's bike, and she came back to her bike and she saw that she didn't have that same kind of grip. And unfortunate thing for her too, because now she's way down there for the points, as far as in like third place against Bender and Heron. And it was just a good weekend, man, just to see them, man. And it's also, like I said, I know Boubier's not racing anymore, but man, they sure are making it exciting in his absence, especially to see Sean Dillon Kelly do what he needs to do this year, because I didn't think Sean Dillon Kelly was going to be one of the guys who was going to be leading Superbike, because I thought this was Bobby Fong's year once Cameron Boubier left out. But unfortunately, Bobby Fong's teammate is the one that's really causing the havoc this year for Yamaha.
Right. No, I agree. I thought so too. We'll go to Tyson, man. What are your thoughts, man, on the colors and the weekend? And you hear Hario talk about Kayla in the super sport crashing out. It's tough when you want to win, and it's when you see that red miss. It's in the moment. It's like it's hard.
It's over you sometimes.
What are your thoughts, man?
The Superbike races were pretty good. I liked watching those. It was good to see Sean Dillon Kelly and Matthew Schultz fight it out there. I think it was a race 1 that they were fighting real good, and then race 2 he just kind of passed them and was doing his own race at that point. But I love those Yamaha colors. I remember when the R1 and the R6 a couple of years ago they came out with them. I liked them on those bikes. I wanted one, couldn't afford them at the time. But it was good to see JD Beach go out there and win both races, especially for Attack Yamaha. One of our fellow podcasters on here is part of the team, so it's good to see everyone's sort of having a good day. But I feel like it definitely makes the championship interesting. Before the weekend, I was like, well, it's definitely Schultz and Sean Dillon Kelly, and then here it is, JD Beach. He's now in second, only 11 points behind SDK. And he was looking solid. I didn't think anybody could have beat him this weekend. Like, he was quick. Like, no one was sniffing his back tire.
Right.
But hopefully we can see him, keep that pace going for the next couple weekends and, see a championship for Attack Yamaha and JD Beach. But the super sport races were good too. It was good to see Darren Binder. He got out in that race one and just took the front and just kept that. And it seemed like no one could really compete with him. It seemed like Josh was kind of like waiting to see what he could do and then just couldn't really match later in the race. Did Kayla crash out in the second race or the first race? She crashed out of one of them.
The second.
The second race. I think she finished third in the first race then. And it was great to see. I've said it before, like, I don't really think it really matters, what sort of sex you are to a degree. But it is great to see like a woman in MotoAmerica and, third in the championship. Like, she's 72 points behind Josh now in second, who is in second. So I think her championship hopes are pretty much over. But still, it is not something to balk at. I think she's 18 or 19. She's third in the championship in suit and sport. That is very impressive for anybody of that age. And, especially one of the only female riders on the grid. But it was good to see Josh also like put the screws to Darren in the second race, get the pass, and then and it seemed in that second race, once he passed Darren, there's nothing anybody could do against him either. So it's certainly an interesting championship, and I'm curious to see who of those two can come out on top.
Yeah, I agree. It was good to see, and I posed that a question to the other guys, and just saying, is Darren coming into his own? Because I think in race one, he definitely was like, okay, I'm gonna go out here and do my thing. I mean, he did run off, saved it, and then eventually crashed out. But again, I think it's similar to Kayla, where you want to win, and sometimes it's hard to just say, don't go for it in this moment, kind of thing. But let me ask this, guys, before we get out of here, about Kayla. She had the opportunity to ride Bulaga's bike and Marc Marquez's bike. How crazy is that? How cool is that? She's on Ducati's website. If you visit the website, she's on the homepage. So she's a global star right now because of that. Because we know who and what Ducati is. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on Ducati saying, "Hey, we see what you're doing. We give you the nod and give you a ride"?
Man, I think I said it previously before. I think she need to go to Moto 2. Like, that talent needs to be. I'm not saying that she's getting bored with it or nothing. I'm saying I understand that it's a certain time where you're like, okay, I'm doing this every year. I think she needs to be in Moto 2. I don't know about World Superbike so much, but like for sure Moto 2, because she's at that ripe age with her talent that it needs to be peaked. And I don't think she's going to peak her talent staying in MotoAmerica. I think they need to give her the opportunity, whatever back and whatever sponsors that's out there that she has. I think they need to just push for her to go to Moto 2. And I just really think that needs to happen, because she has a talent that's very peculiar, that nobody on field don't have, and she has the backing for it. And I think she needs to get the opportunity. And it was great to see her get the opportunity to ride Ducatis. I don't know who can say they rode Marc Marquez's bike or the championship leader for World Superbike Ducati. Like, who can say they've done that? Nobody, only her. And I think that was just an ode to say they believe in what she's doing and they see her.
I agree. And, Michael, I've seen videos of Michael Jordan jumping on one of the old Ducatis and taking a lap or two around. So, he's in high company. What are your thoughts, Tyson, man, on what Ducati did and what she been able to do, and just how cool it is to ride a MotoGP bike?
I mean, it's great exposure for MotoAmerica to have one of our stars going out there and showing it for Ducati Global and MotoGP. And it's great for Kayla as well. Like, hopefully, this is some marketing for her that she can use to further leverage her career into the future. I would love to see her in Moto 2, like Hario said. I always I feel like I get like just PTSD from American riders going to Moto 2 and not doing much. That I'm like kind of worried that like she goes to Moto 2 and I don't know if are there any women in Moto 2? I don't think so. And then she's the only woman and there's extra media on her and it's a lot. And I don't know if she is ready or not. I'm not in that camp, but maybe she's not and it doesn't go well. Like that's just kind of like it just gives me a little like Sean Dillon Kelly went over there and we had all sorts of hype. So we were all excited because he was an American in Moto 2 and didn't do much and, kind of just fizzled out. And it's just sad in a way. But I just hope that doesn't happen to her. That's all. Like, I hope she goes and she does well.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I think if the only reason to go to Moto 2 is if she wants to go to MotoGP. Right, because the chassis is completely different than the street bikes, and if she wants to go to World Superbike, then that's a whole different ball game, and maybe going over and riding Ducati over in World Supersport next year or something like that. I mean, she has opportunities, which is a great part about it. She has opportunities to her future is there for her to do whatever she needs to do. So. Hopefully we'll find out in the near future. Maybe she'll stay in MotoAmerica and go to World Superbike in a couple of years or next year. You never know. But I think the fact that Ducati has taken notice of her and put her on help put her on the world stage. She's already on the world stage, but obviously having them do that has brought people who probably didn't know who she was, know who she is now. And so I can't imagine they're going to do that and not give her some opportunity to do more. So it is pretty cool to see. Anything else you guys want to say that I didn't bring up and you want to get off your chest before we get out of here, guys?
I'm good.
Yeah, I like it. My name is Rex45. It's the Be Forever Cool podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Check out BeForeverCool.com. We got merch. And we got some cool discounts coming out for our Patreon members. So definitely go sign up because that's the only way you're going to be able to get the discounts, the good discounts that are coming. So looking forward to announcing more cool things. My name is Rex45. I want to thank Harry O from Two Wheels, One Chain. I want to thank Tyson from New York, from New Hampshire. Peace.